Good evening, everyone, and welcome into the Off the Reins podcast by the Stallion Stampede of the Shotgun Sports Network. My name is Ryan Messer, and what a weekend. That game on Saturday really lived up to the hype. We also now know who's going to be in the USFL championship game to decide who's going to represent the USFL in the USFL championship game. But before we get into all of that, we're going to go ahead and thank you guys for sharing all of our content we've been posting. You guys have been really great about making sure that that's being shared and available for all everybody else. So I want to thank you guys for that, as well as making sure that your notifications are turned on, because like I said last week, we got some changes coming up to the pages. So we're going to actually be adding another page, like I said last week. So make sure that you guys are have those notifications turned on so you guys don't miss a thing. We don't want y'all left out in the dark when these things go down this summer. So before we get too far into it, let's go ahead and jump right on into it with the Birmingham Sports Brief, brought to us this week by Blue Spring Living Water. We're going to jump right on into it with the USL, where the Birmingham Legion FC took on the Tampa Bay Rowdies as on Thursday as a part of the U.S. Open Cup. However, the Legion came up short as they fell 6-4 in full time. On Saturday, however, Birmingham got their revenge in the regular season game as they shut the Tampa Bay Rowdies out 1-0 in full time. Tomorrow we get the chance to see them return back home to Protective Stadium to take on the Charleston FC. Additionally, it's not only going to be their home return, we also get to see the inaugural game of the Birmingham Legion FC2, which, as we mentioned previously in other episodes, that this is a developmental league for the USL to develop the next generation of these soccer players, or football players. Don't want anybody getting offended there. Sorry, but it's going to be a doubleheader. If you go, make sure you guys go out if you can. It's going to be, like I said, a doubleheader. You get 2 games for the price of 1. Can't beat it. So if you can, get out there. It's going to be a great atmosphere. They have the drum squad and all. So make sure it's a really great atmosphere. So make sure you guys get out there and check out a game. We will be getting some coverage of the games later on in the season. Still got a lot going on right now, but make sure you guys get out there and support the Legion FC. Shifting gears over to the Birmingham Barons of the Southern League of the MILB, where the Birmingham Barons were last seen in Pensacola taking on the Blue Wahoos. However, it seemed like there was some trouble in Paradise as the Barons only won 1 game, losing 5 to Pensacola. However, it's not all bad news, as Birmingham is still number 1 in the Southern League and in the Southern League North, where we are still 1.5 games ahead of the Tennessee Smokies. They are now preparing to take on the Chattanooga Lookouts for a homestand this week, starting tonight. And getting ready on Saturday, they will be turning into the Malmo Oat Milkers. That is a promotional deal that the MILB has got with Oatly, the original and the largest oat milk manufacturer or producer in the world. So they actually have an agreement where all 120 teams of the MILB will be changing their name to the Malmo Oat Milkers. So, and it's also going to be Jalen Milroe that night as the quarterback for Alabama Crimson Tide will be throwing out the first pitch on Saturday. So make sure you guys get out there and support the Birmingham Barons this week as they get ready to take on in division rival there in the Chattanooga Lookouts. I just can't. Another thing you guys need to get ready to do is get your order in for Blue Spring Living Water. I don't know what you guys are waiting for, because they'll deliver it right to your door, thanks to Waterway, and it's not like the bottled water you get in the store, where you don't know where it's sourced from or what's in it. But with Blue Spring Living Water, you know what's in it and where it's sourced. It's sourced right here in Blount County, Alabama. And it is naturally minerally enriched water. So make sure you guys take a step toward a healthier life with Blue Spring Living Water. Now let's shift gears on back to the Birmingham Stallions, where this game, like I said, lived up to the hype. I don't know what else to say, but it was an amazing game. Those guys left it all out there on the field. It started out with the very strong defensive game, and that's just how you can describe it. The two best teams in the league left it all out there on the field. They went back and forth all night long. So, and I gotta say, I think it really came down to the coaching, because Coach Holtz really knew what he was doing with the way he was controlling the clock and running it down and manipulating the clock there, especially there in the second half. It was really, and there toward the end of the first half as well. So he really used and abused that clock to his advantage. So that was a really well coached game. Not only that, but these guys, the battle of the quarterbacks, the receivers had a great game. I think Adrian Martinez had 10 different receivers he threw to. I think that's a season high. It's an amazing to see how well both these teams performed. And I don't think that we even saw the best that either team had. I think there was more potential. I know potentially we've got some guys that may be returning if we do get to the UFL championship, and hopefully both teams will be full strength. Unfortunately, I think AJ McCarron did get injured during this game, and he he was unable to attend the post game because he was receiving treatment for that because of the low tackle there in the fourth quarter. Um, as far as the game itself, it seemed like Birmingham was shooting themselves in the foot a bunch, committing a few different, big penalties. Uh, we're in the bottom half of the league for as far as penalties are concerned. But this team, I mean, it seemed like we had a block punt, we had a muff punt. It seemed like we couldn't do anything to to help ourselves in this game. So, fortunately, Birmingham did come out on top, and they are headed to the. We knew this last week, but they are headed to the USFL championship game. We are still yet to decide where it's going to be, but we know who we will face. It will be Michigan Panthers. And if Birmingham clinches the home field advantage, or as a bunch of people are saying, when Birmingham clinches the home field advantage, it will be on Saturday, June the 8th at 2 p.m. Central Daylight Savings Time. So just look forward to that. Make sure that your plans are set for that because we need you guys out there because we're going to have to face those guys twice. But, we got to talking to Coach in the post-game conference, and he spoke about a few different things, about some of the issues that we saw that we really need to clean up, especially if facing these the really good Brahmas team coming up in a couple weeks. And then also we're going to have back-to-back games against the Michigan Panthers. And he talked about Isaiah Zuber, who really kind of proved himself, but he had a couple mistakes where he muffed that punt. And this is what Coach Holtz had to say.
We drop a punt on the 5-yard line. Last week we lose our punt returner, who's down this week, and so you put in the backup. And I think Zuber's a really talented young man and does a lot of really good things. And he's done this before, and he just went in. And unfortunately, we just put the ball on the 7-yard line that led to 7 points. But I could sit here and go through the little mistakes along the way that drive me absolutely crazy. I don't think we got to play perfect, but we certainly got to play better than we did today. We feel really blessed to come out of this with a win. I'm really proud of the way this team competed. I think St. Louis has got a great football team. I think Anthony Beck does a great job. I can say defensively, they came out with a totally different mindset. They were a lot more zero coverage and heating it up, and we had to make some adjustments, and I thought the players did that on the field really well. I thought they had some, they've got a really good staff. It was a hard-fought football game. But I'm just really proud of our players that they kept hanging in there. They kept banging that rock. And, even with all the mistakes, to score 30 points against that defense, it's been giving up 222 yards a game. I'm just really proud of our players and the way they fought.
And then also in the post-game conference, he also discussed about how the fans attributed to the success of the team and how the atmosphere of this game was so strong because we had so many fans out there cheering on the Stallions and disrupting the offense of the St. Louis Battlehawks. And this is what he said on that.
Great game. Thank you to the people of Birmingham that came out. I hope those that came out had a great time and enjoyed the environment, and you'll come again next week because we get to do this again next week. So everybody that was there plus more, we'd like to see this thing continue to grow. But the crowd was great at some points. I thought they were loud. They made some noise. They definitely helped fuel us along the way. So I'm very appreciative to all the fans that were there, the noise they made. And it's a great environment. Every player wants to play in that type of environment where it's electric, there's excitement and energy, two great teams, and you know that a game like that is going to come down to one mistake could get you beat. You know what I mean? One mistake, and a lot of these games are one-play games, and you could change probably 10 different plays in that game, and it changes the outcome of the game. Just one play. Change the block punt. Change, change or the drop punt return. Change their turnover where they threw an interception. I mean, just two teams fighting their tails off. But I am very, very proud that our team was able to come away with a victory today, even with some of the mistakes we made.
And then he was also talked about how about looking ahead to the teams that we've got to see going forward, like the 2 games back to back against Michigan. And this is what he had to say about that.
We still have a long way to go, and I would tell you that they're a really good football team. If we got to play them again, you got them. You've got San Antonio. Houston has beaten us 2 of our 3 losses since we've been doing this thing. Anybody can beat anybody, and that's the thing. We can't get tied up in, well, you got to play them and got to play them and got to play. We got 3 more games in our regular season, and any one of those teams can beat us if we don't show up. And if we make some of the mistakes like we did yesterday, we were just able to overcome some of them. But I think for us, it's just a matter of falling in love with the process of what it's going to take to become great. And when this season's over, that's when you look up and you go, you know what? We weren't bad. You know what? We were a pretty good football team. But it's not going to be until then am I going to start looking backwards, because right now we will enjoy this. I will throw up over the mistakes we made. I will get sick. I will be nauseous. And I will wake up tomorrow motivated to get them fixed. You know what I mean? And so will this team. And that's one of the reasons that this has worked.
And then Adrian was asked about what he thinks that keeps this team so strong and so year after year after year. And this is what he had to say about it.
I'd give a lot of credit to Skip and the culture that he's built here. And, I know coming in, it was said that there's been 50% turnover year in and year out. From year 1 to year 2 to year 3, there's been a couple things staying the same, and one of those things is Skip. And I think he's done a great job of building the culture and making sure that there's a standard. He knows what it looks like, what it should look like, week in and week out, 1-0 mentality. And I think a lot of guys bought into that, and that's part of why you see the success on the field.
But overall, like I said, this team's really strong. We have another team to face this week. I'm hoping to see all these fans come back again this week, so that we can see the even bigger team, and even bigger crowd than we saw this past week with the over 14,000 fans in the stands. So, if you can, make sure you get out there. Birmingham's been the number one. Fox has said that Birmingham's the number 1 TV market. So we've got to get out there and support them in the stands as well, because that helps the marketability of that the television product. So overall, I think we do have a great team ahead of us, but they can't sit there and look ahead yet, and they can't look back yet, because they have 3 more games that they have to face, and then they have to take on the Michigan Panthers back to back, which is I don't care how hard, how strong or how weak a team is. It's hard to beat a team back to back. Even taking them twice in a season, but this time we're gonna have to take them on 3 times, three different games. So we've already had the first one. We did win on that, but hopefully we can get some guys back from injury and then get ready to take on the last little stretch of the regular season and then go into the postseason. Like I said, if Birmingham clinches the home field advantage for the USFL championship game, it will be at Protective Stadium on Saturday, June the 8th, again at 2 p.m. Central Daylight Time. So make sure you clear your calendars, like I said. Another thing is that this Houston team is getting really good really late. Yeah, they're not out of the playoffs, but it would be it seems like that kind of team that would be able to play spoiler to keep us from going ahead and clinching that that home field advantage for the playoffs. It's nerve wracking, and then having to take on the Brahmas in San Antonio at the Alamo Dome. That's going to be rough. We have, and then back-to-back games against a really, really good defensive front for the Michigan Panthers, who have arguably the best kicker in the league, in Jake Bates. I don't know what else to say, but these guys have got their work cut out for them, and then more than likely to see St. Louis again or have to face the Brahmas again, probably. It's not been set in stone yet. However, it's looking highly likely like it's going to be those two teams, one of those two teams, to be the XFL representative. So, overall, this team's really good, but they've shown weakness, and they can be beat. So, we've got to make sure that 1-0 mentality that has been instilled in this team by Coach Holtz and the entire coaching staff, because everybody's buying into it. You don't, JoJo Tillery, before he got injured, he would celebrate the wins with a flip and 1-0, 1-0, every single game. So that 1-0 mentality is really what's driving this team and keeping them. And another thing that's really keeping them in these games is the fact that they look at the scoreboard like it's 0-0. No matter what the score really is, they look at the score like it's 0-0. They play as hard as they can until the last second of the game, until there's 3 zeros across that scoreboard on that game clock. So I don't know what else to say but how well this team has performed and how they're improving. With all the injuries and all, it seemed like it was going to be, a pitfall, but they seem like they're getting better, not worse, even with these injuries and these newer guys coming in off the bench, even though the reason behind that, like we described last week, was Coach Holtz revolving people in and out through the entire game. That's why Adrian Martinez had 10 targets, 10 different targets this past week. to throw to. So overall, make sure you guys get out there this weekend, support the Stallions, support all the Birmingham sports teams, especially the Stallions. So as for me, I'll see you guys next week, and giddy up.